Genius or madness?
There is nothing wrong with you.
How can you tell the difference? Gwyneth Paltrow's new film with Jake Gyllenhaal and Anthony Hopkins is about a young mathematician who's not sure if she's inherited the brilliance of her dead father or his mental instability.
A very good sign that you're crazy is an inability to ask the question, am I crazy?
Even if the answer is yes?
Crazy people don't ask, you see?
Huh.
For Paltrow, there are echoes of her own life. She experienced deep turmoil when her father died several years ago. It was he who urged her to make her West End debut in the original stage play of Proof. The critics loved it. It's made her particularly attached to the material.
In one sense, I had trepidation about doing it as a film because the play had gone so well and it was such a fantastic experience, and I thought, oh, we could, be opening ourselves up to destroying the play, or, what if the adaptation doesn't work?
And of course, between you doing the stage play and then doing the movie, your father sadly died.
Right.
How do you sense that affected the way you tackled the part of Catherine?
He did die, and then, so to end up doing the piece again, this time having a very different relationship to the death of one's father, was, it was quite harrowing at times. I was also thankful in a way that I was on the same trajectory as Catherine, my character in the film, and that we were exactly kind of in the same headspace.
Why don't you answer the phone?
I'm sorry, Catherine. It's a question of priorities, and work takes priority. You know that.
You're working?
God damn it! I'm working!
When you talk about the adaptation and how you were fearful of whether that would be successful, it struck me that it's very different from a lot of conventional Hollywood movies, and you can see the play in the film, and the way it's shot, it's more intimate, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a way, it's less conventionally filmic. Do you think that works?
I think that the main thing was to be faithful to the play, and the play is four people talking to each other, basically.
Coffee.
Still making those lists, huh?
Oh, it's a compulsion.
Do you ever cheat and tick off something you haven't actually done yet?
Well, I would only be cheating myself.
Right.
Do you think in some senses it's rather depressing that it's not something that you could automatically expect to have widespread release within the American mall cinemas?
The films that I sort of have been committed to making, and the sort of promises that I've made myself, are to do films that are challenging and worthwhile, and you just have to understand that, in Europe it's a different story, but in America people want to be spoon-fed things.
As you say, it's interesting in that for once it's a film where the dominant character is a woman, which is in itself not as common as one would like it to be, and also you're on screen for so much of the time. Even though it didn't get a really widespread release, it will be a kind of milestone.
Well, I think that it's wonderful whenever films are made about women, and they're just so few and so far between.
So she's doing her bit to promote women in the film industry. She's directed a 10-minute short film about the New York dating scene, starring a relative Hollywood unknown and written by a magazine reader. Shot in New York, where she grew up, it's the first time she's directed. The film is being shown at this week's Sundance Festival, but this is the first time it's been seen outside the US.
It's not as if they're always completely objective turnoffs.
And Google got a hold of that rocket ship. I'm long and strong at $2.90 a share.
Yes, sir.
I said bring the cheese now.
Sure.
Suckwad.
It's kind of about dating and being a woman, but it's sort of dating disaster story based on a true story of this woman who wrote in her story to Glamour magazine.
For all her commitment to helping other women get on, she's decided that since becoming a mother, raising a child comes before career. Her daughter, Apple, is a year and a half, and she's expecting her second baby in May. It's all in great contrast to her previous life, doing non-stop movies, from Shakespeare in Love, which won her an Oscar.
There is no day for me to look upon. She is my essence.
to her portrayal of the troubled writer Sylvia Plath.
I feel in a lot of ways I achieved a lot of what I set out to achieve, and I was so exhausted by the end of it, and I didn't feel like I had a lot of worth to my life. So this just feels right to me, and so I'm following the course and, you know, trying not to judge myself for wanting to stay home, or if I want to go back to work, trying not to judge myself for wanting to go back to work.
Do you feel, in some senses, having a child is the most creative act, and once you've done that, everything else, you know, even given that you're working in a creative field, kind of slipped away?
In my experience, yes, very much so. I mean, having her fulfilled me in ways that I didn't have the capacity to understand until I had her. And I never feel the itch to go out in the world and be creative.
In the past, she said she had to get out of America when she had her first child because she couldn't live under the Bush administration. Now, Hollywood is making more politically questioning films, from Sam Mendes' latest movie to George Clooney's. Would more of this kind of material tempt Paltrow out of domesticity to make a statement on screen?
Basically, what I'm tempted by is an excellent script. The right thing hasn't sort of found me. I probably would feel differently if I hadn't worked myself to death for 12 years before I had her.